Hello, everybody. I'm Dani Palacio, and I welcome you to Awaking Moment podcast. It's a podcast dedicated to waking up, really, finding that inner truth, discovering what ignites you, what you're passionate about, and then, fearlessly moving forward with courage to live that life that you so desire. So if you're here, then I welcome you. I welcome your discovery. I welcome your questions. And I'm here because I love the discovery process. I love the investigation of what does it mean and how does it feel and how will I work this into my life? And so if you need support in doing that, I really encourage you to reach out to me. I do remote sessions as well as in-person sessions if you're near Newburgh. And I would love to have the opportunity to hold space for you and transform. That said, today's topic is one that I get questions about. So a lot of it is curiosity about what kind of session do I hold? The other part is once I get the session and I feel renewed and different and changed and all of that, how do I keep it? Because it feels awesome. And so we're going to talk about that. And last but not least, we're going to talk about if you are a healer, if you are a practitioner of something, how do you keep yourself able in the highest capacity to continue to be that practitioner? So first, a little bit about a session, and this doesn't have to necessarily be just about the work I do. If you're looking for some Reiki or some energy healing or some frequency or some DNA activation or clearing, if you're looking to really dive into your ancestral DNA and all that includes, because that's a lot, you will want to honor that desire in a way that feels in alignment. So when you meet a practitioner, someone like me, and they can be called many things, right? They can be called a healer, they can be called a shaman, they can be called a mentor, a teacher, all of that, all those words kind of imply the same thing, that this individual is dedicated to supporting you in your journey and is willing to work with you on whatever level you sign up for to support you in the release of the old, stepping into the new, maybe even shifting frequency and alignment and energy, because we are energy first, right? And then we are human. So when you're looking for someone, I want you to think about someone that you resonate with. And what I mean by that is someone that when you talk, they're listening and they can respond back to you in a way that makes you feel heard, makes you feel cared for. It's really important. Just because you found one person doesn't mean they're the end all be all. It's good to have a variety, actually, in some ways. So you're also looking for someone that is open, fairly transparent in what they're doing, why they're doing it, someone that is willing to share with you the journey that occurred if you weren't able to feel into it. And what I want to stress here is anyone that's keeping secrets, anyone that's not sharing the experience with you is someone, in my opinion, that wants to keep power, that is knowledge, so that there is a hierarchy, that there is oftentimes you'll see teacher student, right? And whatever else those higher ranks are. But when you come for a healing, when you come to open up and to lie down on that table or that, whatever they've prepared, right? I've lied down on tables, pillows, couches, floors. So I just want to say that really look for someone that has a high integrity, that is really transparent, that you feel heard and comfortable with, and that is offering something that feels, and you'll know, like your body will respond. You'll be like, ooh, like they might feel a little joy or excitement. That is your next step, right? Because everyone has steps in the journey and you ultimately get to decide. And so if you're feeling overwhelmed by that, let's say you've done a ton of research and now you have 5 or 6 people, come up with 3 questions and ask each one of them each question, the same questions. And that way you'll have answers that you can feel into and say, oh, well, this person really seemed to really get me. That's the kind of person you want to work with. Okay, so now you found your person, you've had your experience, and you're feeling different. I'm not going to say good or bad. You're feeling different. You're feeling maybe more hopeful. You're maybe feeling deeply emotional. There's a lot of things that happen post-session. And so one, and I tell all my clients this, you need to integrate because that was a lot. And it depends on who you're going to. Maybe you're going to a massage type person that does physical manipulations and adjustments and then does energy work. If you're going to someone like me, I work with the energy field. I work with your soul and your soul's history and your body, like to really anchor it in your body because you're in a body. And so whatever that might look like after the session, after the experience, integrate. And what I mean by that is slow down, take time. When you book a session, I highly encourage you to book 2-3 hours post-session time just to be with yourself, just to sit, maybe take a nap, drink a big cup of water, go for a small walk, but nothing too strenuous. So you wouldn't want to go for a marathon. You wouldn't want to go to a super aerobic workout. You don't want to push the body or the energy. You want it to be soft and comforting and nurturing. And if you don't have the time for that, then be realistic that you're going to have to at some point go back to that feeling and really like bring it in. And integrate is the word I use. Imagine that you're a snow globe. I don't know why that one popped up. It just did. So it's this beautiful snow globe and someone comes up and shakes the snow globe and then they set the snow globe back down. Well, there's still stuff going on in that snow globe and it needs time to settle back into the newness of all that was created, birthed. There's a lot of words to describe it, but to really settle into that newness. And so the way I like to explain it is, for me, working on the energy body, then and through that session, we dip into the mental, the emotional, and the physical. And so when you're out of the experience, out of the session, the energy has been transformed, it's shifting, it's different, it's running different, it's connecting differently, and it's gonna go into the other bodies. It's gonna marinate, it's gonna move into the mental and the emotional and then into the body. And you want it in your body. You want that new frequency, that newness that you have experienced to land inside every single cell of your body. And I often say into the bone marrow, because the bone marrow is the place where blood and your genetic code and it's kind of like the master creator that then creates all the stuff that's in your body. At least that's how I view it. I'm not a medical anything, so I really don't know the scientific biological explanation of that, but from an intuitive energetic perspective, that's exactly how I see it. And so you're going to want it to be in that. So drink a lot of water because you need to flush out the leftovers. Rest because you need to integrate, and sleep is so important. So if you can nap, yeah, 2 thumbs up. And if not, then get a good night's sleep that night, right? And take the other thing I will say after every session, I always say be luxurious with yourself, because the last thing you need is to entertain all the rules of life. So if you've put yourself on a diet and said you can never have that, whatever that is, again, yet after a session, you're feeling like, wow, that would feel so nurturing for me. That would, thinking about eating that or drinking that would be really lovely. Self-love, self-care. Then I want you to entertain the thought of doing it. I'm not encouraging drugs or alcohol or an entire tub of ice cream, but I am suggesting that maybe it's an ice cream cone, or maybe it's a piece of fish or a piece of meat that you don't typically eat, but your body is saying, hey, that feels really good. I want that. I need that. And I always encourage grounding vegetables. So root vegetables, things that were grown in the earth that you had to pull out. So potato, carrot, parsnip, beets, anything that was grown in the earth has a very grounding energy. And so it's really supportive post-session. So if you're like, I want potatoes. And then you're like, oh, I never eat mashed potatoes anymore because they have butter or they have whatever. I would say in the capsule of the experience, go ahead and eat the mashed potatoes. Because if that's the most loving, comforting form of a potato for you, then listen to your body. Because pleasure is an important energy that can help you embody and really step into that newness. So how does one keep the energy, the healing that they received? By taking care of themselves, by not getting stuck in the junk mail. And all of my clients probably have heard me say this, but you go in and you cut cords and you shift energy and you open chakras. This is what I do, right? So again, this is all from my perspective. And all of that's happened. And now you have a whole new way of thinking, a whole new way of feeling, a whole new way of interpreting life. And there's remnants, right? And so much like junk mail that you get in your mailbox, you look at it and you throw it out. You're like, oh, I can't believe they sent me that. And you just, it's like one of those things like, I don't even need to read it. That can happen. And that's the way to address it. That's the way to say, I know I was dealing with my ex and I feel really clean and clear and separated emotionally and energetically now. And my body's starting to respond to that. And then all of a sudden a thought will pop into your head about that ex. See it go right by. Don't get stuck in the movie and watching or feeling. Nope. Whoop, it just goes right by and throw it out. Throw it out. So, because it doesn't have any roots. It doesn't have anything unless you give it to it. So there is some individual responsibility to keep the energy that you walked out of your experience with. Internal critical self voices and judgments and deep, big expectations are really damaging. They're really, really damaging to your soul, to your heart, to the ability to have self-love and self-compassion for yourself. And so most people leave a session feeling hopeful, feeling different, feeling like, wow, I might actually be able to make some change here. And then they run into someone, or they go home, or they go into a store, and there's like chaotic conflict energy. And all of a sudden they're like, ugh, and they're feeling wonky and they're feeling like, I don't like this. Leave. Please just leave. Sometimes it's best to be by yourself if you can. And if that means sitting in your car for an hour after your session, then that's what that means. Or if you have a partner in your life, negotiate what that could look like for you. And that partner could leave. That partner could say, you know what, I'm going to stay in the other room. If you have children, is there an opportunity to have those kids go to a friend's house, or even have a sleepover at someone else's house where you don't have all of the other roles and responsibilities? Because they're important, absolutely. And we can't just not do them, but we can set up our success by having those conversations, negotiating what would work, figuring out a plan for you to have what you most need. So that's honestly the best way to fully integrate and really keep all that yumminess after a session. Now, I've had plenty of sessions myself, and I don't always take my own advice. So I want you to know that this is not coming from a place of like judgment or you better do that, because there's no good or bad. So you had this session, you had an amazing experience, and then you didn't do any of the things I just mentioned. Okay, so what? In my own experience, I'm like, I didn't. I ran around, had to go get groceries, and then I came home and the cat was, like meowing and screaming at me because of something. And I got lost. I got lost in the life of all of it, right? So easy to happen, which is why planning ahead is the best way to deal with that. But let's just say that happened. It happens to me sometimes. It's okay. Again, don't judge yourself. Don't make yourself wrong. Just be like, oh, well, I can do that right now. I can close my eyes. I can feel what it felt like to be at the end of my session. And wow, I remember that good feeling. I remember that hopeful feeling. I remember that emotion that came up. And once you remember it, honor it. Just be like, oh, I invite you back. I invite that moment back. And in that moment, acknowledge it and give thanks for it and invite it in to fully be all that it can be, right? It's magical. There's no like, if you do this for 30 minutes, you're going to have this result. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't even matter if it's energy work, massage, even acupuncture, different sessions, treatments. It doesn't work that way. It can just, take a little moment, and you don't have to say you lost it. You can remember it. I often, when I have a client on the table and we've done some really big stuff, like more than I ever anticipated, I will bring them back fully aware of their body and their consciousness in the room, in the present moment. And I will say to them, I want you to take a snapshot of how you feel right now. Put that snapshot in your brain into a file and store it. The reason I do that is so that they have a touch point to come back to, because residual stuff, junk mail, can occur. And so you want a touch point to being back in that moment of feeling free and open and light and hopeful, and maybe more yourself than you have been able to feel for quite some time. It's a powerful experience, right? So if you can take that snapshot and put it in your memory and pull it up when you need it, that's a really great way to continue all the positive benefits of your session, of your experience. Okay, I hope I've given you some ideas, and I want to move on to the people that are actually giving sessions like me. So I have all kinds of names, right? Because it's hard to describe in a word or two what I actually do. So sometimes I use soul oracle because I'm listening and interacting with your soul. Sometimes it's Reiki, straight up chakra alignment. And so there isn't a single title for someone that does beautiful healing work. And so, but I do believe, in the same way that there's self-care that I just talked to you about how to keep it, you want to find someone that is in the journey with you, that is owning their own stuff, that is evolving. You want to be with someone, a practitioner, a healer, that is walking their talk. And I'm not saying to perfection. I'm saying that they really try earnestly, with heart, to live the principles that they offer to others. If you find someone that's, taken the class and has a certification and feels like, well, there's the check mark, I'm done, and now I can just, go out and do it in the world, I tend to shy away from them because I don't know that they have actually incorporated that wisdom, that teaching into their daily life. And so for me, and you can ask you have the ability to ask everyone that you book a session with, whatever that might be. And so you can ask them, what's your daily practice like? How do you keep clean and clear? How do you amplify? How do you heal? Like, what do you do? And if they don't have an answer, maybe find somebody else. Because I think it's important to not only do it, but to know that you're doing it. So for me, for example, I do daily Reiki every single day. I give myself Reiki. I hands-on. I do a lot of prayer. I believe in prayer and candles because candles are light. They light up and they illuminate. And so I often journey with my team, with my allies, with my guides to check in. And I am constantly, like almost every decision, asking spirit, is this in alignment? Asking my body, What do you want? What do you need? How can I love you? I'm trying to listen to you. Today feels very cloudy and I'm not quite sure I'm hearing you right. So can you make it bigger, louder, more significant so that I get it? I have surrounded and created sacred spaces all over my house in different areas. Incense, some form of smoke, crystals, and I listen to high frequency music a lot because I have a tendency to feel too much, take on too much. As an empath, I get very bombarded and I've had to work on really having boundaries. And so I find that doing those small, repeatable actions, I mean, it would shock me if someone came up to me and if they asked me, "Hey, do you have a crystal?" If I didn't have one, because I kind of have them all over everywhere, I sometimes pick specific ones, or they pick me and I put it in my pocket. So, when I'm feeling like I need some inspiration or some guidance, I like to use visual, physical things. So I have a lot of different card decks. I tend to look at colors, and essential oils is another big thing that I use to ground me, to open me up, to heal. I believe that essential oils have the ability to heal. If you look up their meaning and you look at the color or of the flower or the plant or the tree that it came from, and then relate that back to the chakra that the color is of, that can be really important. And there are times where I am literally walking down the street and I will go hug a tree. I mean, I know that's very you don't have to do that, but I'm just saying for me, or I'll put my hand on the tree, or I'll see a flower and I'll give thanks for its medicine to me. Because we all are energy. We have a vibration that is a frequency, and we are open and can be open to receiving that throughout our day. And I try to also attend. I haven't been in, I have to say, in a bit, not this year at all, but I do like to go on retreat because I like to not be in the space of practitioner, healer, and I like to be taken care of. I like to listen to someone else's wisdom and see how it resonates with me and take what works and leave the rest behind. And so classes, retreats, workshops are a part of my journey, and they're very powerful, and I am called to them when I'm called to them. So there you go. That is healing in a nutshell. How to prepare, how to keep it, and what you should be looking for when I just heard myself say that, what you should be looking for. I gave you some ideas and suggestions as to how to find someone that resonates with you. And so it's a journey, and being very clear about what you want, or being very clear that you have no idea other than something has to change. That's enough for me to say, okay, let's have a session, because sometimes it is really clear. I've been in those situations where I'm like, I know exactly. I need to work on my ancestral stuff because I feel like they've given me more than I can do in this incarnation, and they got to take it back. So whatever you know, great. And then if you don't have any idea, that's okay too. And to be honest about it, I don't really know. I just know that something has to change. And so I hope that this was informative. I hope that it was somewhat entertaining. And I hope that you'll remember some of these things the next time you book a session with someone, about finding the right person, about taking care of yourself, and knowing that that person is taking care of themselves so that they can show up for you. All right, my friends, I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a beautiful moment whenever you listen to this. And I just ask that you share it. I am really trying to grow my presence out into the world. I believe that recommendations, referrals are the best way to do that. And so if you know someone that might enjoy this, please pass it on. If you are on social media, please post. Please repost when I post. Like and subscribe is always a great thing as well. And I appreciate you for that. And I thank you for the opportunity to be someone that you might refer out to someone else. So blessings. Have a wonderful week. And I'll see you next Monday.